Thank you very much indeed, Katrina. We begin tonight in Christchurch with the announcement of the man who's now in charge of ensuring the city's anchor projects are built. The anchor projects announced in 2012 were designed, and I quote, to inspire confidence and give momentum to the inner city rebuild. But delays, budget blowouts, issues around compulsory acquisition, the city's changing priorities, and even Treasury's sense of, and again I quote, significant issues have meant the momentum hasn't been as hoped. Now, there's a change of batteries, a new organisation to take it on, a Crown company called Otakaro Limited. Today, Otakaro announced the appointment of Albert Brantley as the chief executive, as Katrina was just telling us, effective in a fortnight. Mr. Brantley has spent 8 years as chief executive of Genesis Energy. I asked Otakaro's chairman, Ross Butler, what they are now hoping to achieve.
In the short term, John, I'd be really keen for the developers and the investors of Christchurch in 6 months' time to say that was an amazing start to a company. That was a very smart decision to appoint Albert Brantley as the chief executive. And I would want the investors and the developers in Christchurch to have taken on that trust and confidence. They're already poised to make big decisions themselves, but they're just waiting for this company to make a move, and we will, as from today. So in 6 months' time, they would have started making their big investment decisions about the redevelopment of Christchurch.
The problem is, and this is not of your making obviously, that the horse has bolted well and truly, hasn't it? We recently commemorated the 5th anniversary of the 2011 earthquakes. Life has gone on, and many of the businesses that might have been expected or hoped to have set up in the CBD are now operating elsewhere. How do you get people back?
John, I'm acutely aware of that. I'm particularly aware that, as I said before, investors and developers are poised to make their decisions. There's a large number of them. Some are Christchurch-based, some are New Zealand firms, some are international firms, but they are poised to make big decisions about Christchurch. And we shouldn't underestimate what is happening in terms of private enterprise in Christchurch already. The rebuild of the retail precinct and the innovation hub are just two great examples of how free enterprise on its own has made some big calls, some big investments, and they are taking forward the rebuild of Christchurch.
So Ross, that's free enterprise. What about the anchor projects, which is the government's blueprint, the Central City Recovery Plan announced in 2012? Obviously the stadium is being discussed, but is there now a case to review other projects?
No, there's an expectation by the community that came through very loudly from over 100,000 participants in the Share a Wish campaign, that they wish to see matters such as the convention centre, the Metro Sports facility, the Avon River precinct, and all the other projects go ahead.
Okay, can we go through those? The convention centre, when will Christchurch have a convention centre and a precinct attached to it?
I'm not going to comment today, John, about the convention centre.
So you've just told me that 100,000 submissions have overwhelmingly supported, for example, the convention centre. It's now 5 years and 2 months since the last really major destructive earthquake, and you're still unable to say when there will be a convention centre or whether there will be one?
No, the convention centre will happen. The Crown has made it quite clear that it will happen. But most importantly, there's an expectation from the business community, particularly investors and developers who have interest around the convention centre. They are poised to make their decisions, their investment decisions, big ones. And I'm acutely aware of that. And so this role of this company, the role of this company today is day one, will be to advance the Crown's interest in that, and we will. But I don't want to say anything more about the convention centre today, John.
Why not, Ross?
I'm not going to say anything more about the convention centre today, John.
You see, This is confusing. After 5 years, after this big announcement, after the appointment of you into this position, after the fanfare, after the end of Sarah, there's still confusion and uncertainty. And Christchurch, I guess people simply want to know what's going to happen when.
Yes, and I am acutely aware of that as well, John, but I am not going to make any further comment today about the convention centre.
Doesn't this speak almost of the real difficulty you find yourself in? Because you're inheriting a situation you haven't created. You're inheriting the passage of time, so life has moved elsewhere in that city. You are inheriting the expectations created by the blueprint and the big talk of the anchor projects. And that's a hell of a balancing act for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but I'm confident that this new structure, this is a company, it has a small board of directors. We have a professional leader with an established track record of managing huge projects in very complex situations. So I am confident that we can move the convention centre and all the other major anchor projects forward, John.
That's Ross Butler, the chairman of Otakaro. If you're